Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. Today, Sneako is on Fresh and Fit talking about women's experience in relationships. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Well, women universally like certain traits. Leader of men, a tall, fit, decisive, confident, ambitious.
Oh, no. Look at the girl in the white. She's cringing so hard because Destiny isn't that.
These are typical, and there's a couple other traits as well.
Man.
Light skin.
Actually, no, you're wrong. Black.
So if a man possesses these traits, he's going to be attractive to and obviously income and the ability to provide security and social status. So if a man has these things, he's going to be attractive to a wide demographic of women.
It's true.
And the more attractive you are to a wide demographic of women, other women want you. Look at Leonardo DiCaprio. He has a terrible reputation according to women. Won't fuck a girl over 25 or won't date a girl over 25. He's a womanizer, etc. But why do the women keep going back to him?
Yeah. A woman is not throwing her life away by having children. But anyway, women are universally attracted to certain traits, which means that women are all competing for the same demographic of men, and so on. So, basically, if your girl is worried that you might cheat, what it means is that you're in that group, right? And those are the only guys that women see. So, there you go.
Him. Look at Dan Blazarian. He's taking pictures with hordes of women. I've always said it. This is going to be offensive to ladies here, but having bitches is a passive income to get other bitches. I hate to say it like that.
Literally.
Because women, when they see other women with you, they automatically assume you're cool and you're fun, and they want to get to know you because it creates intrigue. Men don't need
That's called social proof. That's right.
that, though.
Do you think that these traits are what make you a good husband or father?
So here's okay, you know what? Fantastic point.
Good question.
Really good question. High IQ question. I would argue yes. And the reason why is because if I'm able to have sex with a lot of girls and establish which women are worthy of a relationship and which ones aren't, I'm setting myself up for success because I'm marrying a woman that, number one, has earned, the privilege of being my girl. And then I know that she's going to be a good mother. Because if she's a good wife, because I picked her, then she's going to inevitably be a good mother as well. Because
Right. That's right. So these girls, they don't even know what they want to, or what they want to be, or how they want to be. They don't know. But if a guy has a lot of experience with girls, he knows which girls are good and which girls are bad, right? So these girls that are like, basically, if you're the kind of man that's capable of getting an income of 50 plus, you've had so much experience with girls that you know which girls are good and which girls are bad for relationships, right? Because you've had so much experience with different kinds of girls, and so you're better able to pick somebody that actually will work to have a family with. It's absolutely true.
we know two-parent households are critical to the development of strong children.
Facts.
True.
Sure. My concern is, so I talk a lot about men's mental health. That's kind of like what I do my YouTube content on. And we see that men are increasingly depressed, they're increasingly lonely, and they're getting divorced at a super high rate. They're suicidal and they're addicted all the time. And I worry that part of this is because we've attached a man's value to his GDP. We've said a man is valuable. And I think women do this to men as well when he has income, because we see money as essentially a heuristic for what you would say is stability providing.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And well, okay. It's not actually money that like why men are not happy. That's actually not right. That's actually not right. The reason why women are not happy, why men are not happy in 2023, most of them, is because 95% of men get nothing. And I don't mean they get a little bit. I mean they literally get nothing. They get no attention from girls at all. Walk out on the street, they're invisible. They go on a dating app, they're invisible. They talk to a girl, they get ignored. By every single girl that they've ever been interested in their entire life. That is the story for 95% of men in 2023. That's why men are depressed. They literally... So what happens? then there's a societal heuristic, right? There's a societal norm, and it says, just be nice, just be good, just be a hard worker, and you'll get that girl of your dreams, Billy Beta. And so he does. He works hard. He becomes a mechanic or a plumber or whatever. He becomes an electrician. He goes to university. He becomes, let's say, an accountant. Goes, talks to girls, still nothing. And it's nothing until the guy is 35 years old, right? Then finally, a 35-year-old woman says, finally a good man. So the guy thinks he's finally made it. He's finally had it made, right? He's finally getting that girl of his dreams. But actually, that 35-year-old woman had been sleeping with Chad from 18 to 35. She's alpha widowed multiple times. Maybe she even has a kid. And now this guy, who's worked hard, has to take care of her and save her from her bad decisions. That's the fate of 95% of men in 2023. And this is what, and so the guy doesn't even want to be with a girl like that, right? And so then younger men see the situation of the 35-year-old man. They're like, I don't want this. And they just walk away. That's 2023 in a nutshell. Most men don't even want to put in the effort because they don't get anything anyway, right? Because only 5% of men are successful, right? Only 5% of men become the top percentage of men that women are actually interested in. And when I say women, I don't mean some women. I mean 95% of women. So for practical purposes, it's all women. That's what happens. So again, guys, leave it in your thoughts in the comments if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying. Hit that sub, hit all for notifications. Let's continue. So that's the story there. So it's no surprise at all why men are just walking. Now before, we had this institution called marriage. And basically what that did is it acknowledged, okay, girls, we understand that you just want the top 5% of chads, but we don't care. You're going to marry this guy. You're going to marry this guy. You're going to have his children, and you're going to behave as you're supposed to. And what does it do? Well, it makes the women unhappy, of course. But what it also does is it encourages men to work for society, and it allows for the building of civilization. Nowadays, civilization is collapsing because, well, what a surprise, women aren't doing their part anymore. They just want child and that's it.
The issue is that like a guy who can provide all of these things isn't inherently a good father. And I would argue that when you're using this dating strategy with women, I'm concerned that the women that you attract and maintain a relationship with aren't the women who are going to be willing to invest into you. You want a woman who's going to find you attractive when you're broke and you're just trying to get your IT degree and she sees something in you and is willing to stick beside you. But
yeah, that's not, like in 2023, that doesn't exist. Girls don't do that. Maybe foreign girls that are immigrants from other countries would do that. But no modern woman is going to do that.
Most women of that quality, if they find out that they can't trust you in a negotiation, and to be honest, most women want monogamy, these women aren't going to be interested in you. And so I'm concerned that the dating strategy that you're suggesting actually ends up with women that are more that exhibit more fatherless behavior. Because I would argue fatherless behavior is when women look at a man and they see a wallet. That to me is fatherless behavior. When a man,
yeah, that's accurate. That's when women look at a man and see a wallet, that absolutely is fatherless behavior. It's also multi-alpha widow behavior as well.
Man's GDP is just all that matters to her, because when girls don't have dads, a lot of time the relationship they have is either none, or it's a dad who pays alimony, buys her expensive gifts when he feels bad for not being around her, right?
Okay, that's a good argument. So on this podcast, we tell guys all the time, you don't make the money to get the girls, you make the money so women are a byproduct of your success.
That's right.
So when you're in a position where you've dated women, you have money, you've built up certain competency skills, what happens is, and we tell guys all the time, you need to vet a girl for about 1 to 2 years bare minimum.
At least.
So that you can go ahead and establish and see what she's really there for. And most girls, are not going to be able to keep up the charade for much longer. So my thing is, you got to get out there and date women, figure out which women are, worthy of relationship, which ones aren't, because in today's day and age, what you mentioned, like a lot of girls want guys with income. Are they going to take a chance on a guy that's IT? The reality is most girls aren't. With Instagram, social media, Women have more options than ever before. Women are far less tolerant of a man that isn't capable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as I said, 95% of women are interested in the top 5% of men. They're not interested in Just a regular dude off the street, Joe Schmo. Not interested. He's invisible. This is why men are walking away. Because they're not getting anything out of what they used to get stuff out of. Like before, if a guy got into university, he was getting married and having children for sure, right? He'd marry a girl at university and everything's fine. Nowadays, a guy gets into university, still has no chance with girls. Those girls are just sleeping with the top 5% chads and nobody else. And they're sleeping with the top 5% chads in their area using Tinder or whatever. That's what's happening in 2023. Most guys get nothing.
Sorry to say, college education, feminism, women earning more money, having more degrees. Women are doing really well right now financially. Women are out earning men in a lot of major cities in the United States nowadays.
True.
So women have less tolerance for man's financial ineptitude. So therefore, men must perform. There's no way around it.
Indeed.
Most girls are not going to take a chance on you. Most girls want a guy that's ready to go. You know, no fucking assembly required. That's the way. That's where we live in now.
I wholly agree with you.
So with that said, they gotta get all their stuff together from a financial standpoint. That's gonna create competency. Then they also got to get out there, date girls, become the best version of themselves, figure out which girls are for the streets, which girls aren't, and then vet from there for a period of 1 to 2 years, and then they're gonna be able to figure out, is this girl with me for the right reasons? And then that's where they can go.
And let's be real here. Girls want a guy with experience. Let's say, for example, right? You don't want to date a virgin because you got to teach them how to have sex, how to really be a man. So a guy with experience is attractive.
That's right. Women want a leader. They want a superior. So naturally, the guy is going to need to be better than her at everything, right? And that includes bedroom fun. And the way that a man becomes better than her at bedroom fun is by having other girls previously. So there you go. All right. Let's read this article by Ro Tomasi. Sorry, this chapter. It's from his book, The Rational Male. This is Dream Girls and Children with Dynamite. Self-love is not so great a sin as self-neglect, and that was Henry V. Pride is one thing that people get very confused about. It's a healthy thing to have pride of oneself, to be proud of our accomplishments. It's a very real source of self-confidence. Humility is an admirable quality too, don't get me wrong. But humility is only genuine when you're confident of your own abilities. It takes a humble man to walk away from a fight that he knows he could win, but chooses not to engage in. Generally, humility is only self-gratifying, because only rarely will others appreciate it as humility, and not view it as cowardice, or at best, a lack of confidence. Pride often appears arrogant because people of lesser accomplishments become envious, and people of better accomplishments think less of them than you do. It's very important not to appear too perfect, but it's equally important not to seem spineless. It's quite another thing to be prideful, and this is where the disconnect comes for a lot of AFCs, particularly ones with strong ego investments in morality, chivalry, honor, etc. My old AFC self used to struggle with this as well. The AFC sublimates himself. He self-deprecates because he believes erroneously that this ideology will separate him from the herd and make him not like other guys. He mistakenly believes that he's unique in this, when actually his thinking is the mindset of the majority. Why? For the answer, all you need to do is look at the most common responses in the blog and forum comment threads from guys just recently discovering the community. I have no doubt that there are some guys who go from 0 to PUA and then parlay that into some kind of seducerhood. I would also argue that they are the rare exceptions. Guys don't search out community forums or blogs like mine because they're getting too much laid. They search it out on Google because what they've been doing isn't producing the results they want. They've been doing exactly what most plugins criticize Game for. They're working from a script. They like to point out the flaws in autonomously adhering to a script with regards to PUA techniques. You become a social robot, not yourself. But from an opposite side, what you're doing now or have done as an AFC is equally as scripted. The only difference, and far more insidious, is that they've internalized these AFC scripts that society on a whole is conditioned into them as personal investments over the course of a lifetime. After dropping your AFC mindset for a one based on self-interest, what happens? You probably begin to see results. You can hook up with women the caliber of which were previously unavailable to you. And all it took was replacing your chump behavior and mentality with one of self-concern and self-priority. You might feel like an A-word. People may say you've changed or accuse you of becoming bitter, or you're being someone you're not, but you can't argue with the results. One of the biggest dangers of the PUA ideal is that it does nothing to address the root problem of AFCism. AFCs don't want to stop being AFCs. Largely, they just want their oneitis to hook up with them long term and then drift back into a comfortable state of just being themselves. According to The Game by Neil Strauss, even the godfather of pickup mystery, with all his PUA prowess, degenerates into a simpering, borderline chump when he realizes that his PUA scripts do nothing for him in a monogamous LTR with Katia. The most notorious PUA in modern history was still in AFC because he hadn't killed that mentality, that AFC internalization. He hadn't killed his inner AFC. Another very common occurrence is the reformed AFC who makes progress towards becoming more game savvy and as a result gets his dream girl only to lose her after reverting back to a beta frame once he's in an LTR with her. I'm not a big fan of PUA founding father Ross Jeffries, but he did say something very profound once. He said, teaching PUA skills to these chumps is like giving dynamite to children. This is probably truer than he realized because the potential for disaster is much higher. Most guys want that silver bullet, the magic formula that will get them the girl, but it does nothing to prepare them for the idyllic, long-term relationship their beta nature has fantasized about for so long. They don't become men, they become children with dynamite. So they're really surprised. Are we really surprised when the guy who finally gets his dream girl as a result of learning game becomes despondent when he loses the best thing he'll ever have, when she leaves him? Are we shocked when his oneitis turns out to be a BPD girl and his life's ambitions pitch into a death spiral because he was unprepared to deal with a post-game LTR? The problem with just employing PUA skills to get any woman is that sometimes it actually gets you any woman. There's no vetting process, no discernment taught as part of technique. AFCs get so impressed with their newfound PUA confidence and getting hotter women, getting their old friend zone girl interested, or getting women at all, that they have no motivation to think about who they should get involved with. They're unprepared for emotionally manipulative women, and particularly when they're more attractive than anything they'd ever had before. They obsess. They predictably get oneitis, but they develop a oneitis in such an extreme case that they can do bad things to themselves about a woman they'd never previously been able to attain. Remember this. PUA skills are tools and valuable ones, but adopting a positive masculine mindset prepares you for more. An AFC needs to divorce himself from deep-set social and psychological schemas. He needs to unlearn the self-delusions that a lifetime has conditioned him to internalize into his personality. Given an AFC game skills before, this transition will only condemn him to disappointment and despair in a long-term relationship. The more important lesson is learned in the discarding of that old beta way of thinking while understanding the tools and techniques that apply to your new confident, positive masculine mindset. Alright, and back to this video.
Okay, with no experience, where do you go from there?
And these
I
are the
don't think
questions
the
that
average
you're
girl wants a
mentioning.
guy though with like 200 bodies.
Yes, she does.
But
Absolutely.
Yes, she does.
No
I
shot.
don't think it really matters.
No shot.
As long as you care about that person.
No
So
shot.
here's the answer to that question. Women are not even capable of like knowing the number. They don't want to know, but they want a guy who has fucked 200 women to be good enough to fuck her properly.
They might want the guy.
They don't want to know
might
the
want the
number.
type of guy that can get 200 women, but most women outside of the insane Miami circles, if you tell them you've got 200 bodies,
Women
she's not
don't
gonna look at you
care.
twice.
Women
Yeah, you don't tell girls your end count. You don't tell them. You just have the behavior of a guy that has that high an end count. You don't tell them your end count. That's actually one of the rules, one of the iron rules of Tomasi. You never disclose your end count. And the reason you don't disclose it is because it's very bad to disclose it. Like, she'll reject you because good girls don't get with guys that have that high end count.
You're insane.
I think the
Women don't
point
care.
that they're trying to get at is that it's not about, oh, he slept with 200 women. The point is that women, we don't want to know, right?
Exactly.
And that's like kind of like weird how you put it that way, because like
Women, why don't you want to know?
They only don't want to know if the guy's a piece of shit. Like if you're a
That's not true.
bum or a beta, they're like, I don't want to know. But like,
No, it's not true.
But if you have to ask that and you're not the type of person that wants somebody like that, why are you even entertaining somebody that you have to ask that question?
Exactly. That's exactly right. Like, if you're not that kind of person, why would you entertain a person that you have to ask that question to? It's absolutely true. By the way, let's do a little bit of body language analysis. The girl in the white dress. Look at her body language towards Destiny. You see how she's recoiling, moving away from Destiny and towards Sneako, and blocking her body with her right arm, and even turning a shoulder towards him? Yeah, that's called defensive posture. She doesn't like Destiny at all. And even Destiny's girlfriend has neutral body language towards him.
Their past matters that much though. Like if they're treating you right, like, and they're like open with you and nice to you and doing the right things for you, then what the fuck does it matter?
Well, because that same guy will look at the woman and say if she has over 20 bodies, then she's for the streets.
And then he's a jerk.
Absolutely true.
Sure, I know, but that's what the argument is here.
Okay, so number one,
the difference in having sex
with guys, we tell.
Again, it's double standards, right? Like, men and women are different. A man with a high end count is attractive. A woman with a high end count is unattractive because it's easy to do. It's easy to get a high number of bodies as a girl. It's hard to do it as a man. So, there you go.
guys all the time, discovery trumps disclosure. You never tell a girl what your body count is. She's going to be able to tell, because the thing is, man, when you're charmed, because here's the thing. Women want a guy that's charming, attractive, etc., right? They want to enjoy the pizza, but they don't necessarily understand what it takes to make said pizza. If you go to your favorite pizza place, right, maybe down there in South Philly, right, they have a special formula. They have the dough at a certain temperature, the water at a certain temperature. So no one gives a fuck how the pizza's made. They just want to enjoy the end product. And that's kind of how women are when it comes to men.
Yep.
What they don't realize, though, is for that guy to get to that point where he's charming, he knows how to say all the right things, his place is nice, he dresses well, he knows what cologne to wear, whatever. It comes from experience. It takes from a lot of trial and error, okay? So you might have to get 50, 20, 100, 200, 300 bodies, whatever it may be, to become the most charming guy. And the reality is, any guy that's extremely charming and good-looking, etc., more than likely has a high body count, and he got it through experience, through trials and tribulations. So my thing is, most guys are not going to disclose, I had 300 bodies. But what I'm saying is that if a woman's with a man that she loves and admires and respects, and they're about to get married, right, and he proposes to her, and then they go on their honeymoon, and she finds out the day before their wedding he had sex with 300 women, she's probably not going to call off the wedding. However, let's reverse.
That's right. That's exactly right. She's not going to call off the wedding. In fact, she's going to be like, oh my God, who did I just get involved with? In like a impressed way. Oh, by the way, let's do some body language analysis again. Look at Destiny's girl. Look at her body language towards him. You see? The left shoulder is, again, it's turned, and she's crossing her arms. Like, okay, if she was interested in her boyfriend, right? The right arm would be straight, the left arm would be crossed, right? Indicating an open posture towards Destiny. Her posture is closed towards Destiny. Yeah, anyway.
It. If the guy goes ahead and gets finds out his wife had 300 bodies before their wedding, he's calling off that wedding because men have a way larger vested interest in a woman's past from a promiscuity standpoint. And that's one of the double standards, one of the few double standards that doesn't benefit women.
Wait,
men and women are not the same when it comes to sexual past. Sorry, go ahead.
So how do you care about a woman being good in bed at all?
That's to be honest. Do
you think a woman that has had more experience is good?
So
better
I would
than
argue
someone that hasn't had any experience at all?
I would argue most of the guys here and most men in general will take a girl that's less experienced with a lower body count and teach her over a girl that's extremely experienced and want to wife her. Now, when it comes to
absolutely true. I would much prefer a girl with no experience, and I'll just teach her what I like. I'll teach her what I like. I would prefer that she doesn't know anything.
And I want to make this very clear too, ladies. There's two hats that men wear when they're dealing with women. There's a relationship hat, and then there's a sex-only hat. When it comes to a relationship hat, he doesn't give a fuck what her experience is. He would prefer it be less experience, and I teach her. Versus when it comes to sex-only, cool, I want her experience up there because I'm not going to wife her. But
wait, can I ask why?
Was that? Sorry.
Can I ask why?
It's not that hard. Just don't use your teeth.
Why?
A woman doesn't want to teach a man.
What's the specific question?
No. Why do you not want to have someone that's had more relationships in the past?
Because of this. A girl that has had many guys in the past is more likely to be alpha widowed. So she's more likely to be unable to pair bond. That's one. And two is she's a bad bet for paternity. So she's much more likely to cheat on you. And if you look at statistics of divorce, if you have an N count of higher than 7, your divorce rate is like 70%. It's very high. That's only 7, right? Whereas, by the way, if the N count is 0 before marriage, 90% success rate.
More experience sexually. Why do you not want to date
that? Your brain by the time it gets to that point.
Pair bonding, it's like, for example, you've been through four relationships, right? Where, for example, like it was bad to you, they mistreated you, treated you like crap. Then you meet me, you're like, you know what? I have trust issues because the guy from the past might be the guy in the future. So we're just saying less baggage, the better.
It's not only that.
Guys can have baggage too, though, right?
Yeah, but
men don't bring baggage up. As a man, it is your responsibility as a man to not complain. You don't complain as a man. You don't sit here and be like, I'm depressed. Men don't do that. Real men do not do that. That sounds like you're not bringing up your baggage.
Like this is the problem, right? For the girls that are saying, like, I don't want to ask about the past. Past behavior predicts future behavior.
That's right. Past behavior is the best indicator of future behavior.
Yeah, but
so
we're talking
of course you want to know about their past.
Y'all don't care.
Yeah, but
women don't like to talk about
men
that.
women do not care about your feelings. They don't care about if you cry today, they don't want. Matter of fact, that turns them off. They pussy dry up.
I would say to go back to her question. As far as like why is that it?
Wait, can I ask another one then?
I was gonna answer the first one, but
yeah, go for it.
Oh,
no, it's fine. Go for it.
Did you see Destiny's body language towards this girl as he told her to stop? It's like puppy dog disaster.
You sure?
I'll just ask.
Okay, because the what you asked was like, why does a woman's past matter? It comes from a biological standpoint. Like men are interested in making sure that the kid is theirs. So men have a deep-rooted, biological urge to know that their girl isn't promiscuous because they need to be able to ensure paternity. Now, before all you guys say, well, what about there's birth control and there's paternity tests, whatever. Yes, I get that. These are minor conveniences. However, men are still biologically hardwired to want a woman that has a low body count, preferably no body count, because there's a reason why virgins have been valued since the beginning of time, because you knew the kid was yours, right? Okay. Just like, even though we live in modern day times now, women still want a guy that's over 6 feet tall.
Okay. That's right. Although back then, back then, you couldn't even get a guy who was over 6 feet tall. It was very rare, right? It was like, but they would still want taller guys, which is why guys have been getting taller over time. Anyway. Okay, relationship advice posted 19 hours ago. This is hilarious, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. So the guy's 29. His mother-in-law, who's 57, took his gaming console. I'm really annoyed right now and I want her out. My fiance, who's 24, and I have a 6-month-old daughter, and my mother-in-law came to visit us and is currently staying with us. She's got 2 more weeks left with us, but I don't know if I can handle it. I'll explain how a typical night routine goes with my fiance and I. After coming back from work, we hang out together, eat, she goes to bed with the baby, and I stay up a few hours finishing my tasks and gaming. My mother-in-law usually wakes up at around 12 to 1 to drink tea before going back to bed. During that time, I'm usually online gaming, and she despises it. While I was cleaning yesterday, I noticed that my PlayStation was missing, and that's when she said that she took it because I need to be in bed instead of gaming. Okay, I don't go to bed at the same time, so what? That doesn't give her permission to take my stuff in my home. It's not like I wake up late, I make it to work on time, I still spend time with my family when I get back, and I'm still taking care of my home. My fiance is annoyed too, but she's asking me to wait out the 2 weeks so she doesn't get into any issues with her mom. It's very disrespectful, right? This is like pushing boundaries. The mother-in-law is pushing boundaries. 1.9k upwards. Take the tea kettle or whatever. After all, she should be sleeping. 1.5k upwards. You tell your girlfriend that a mother is her responsibility. Remind her that you now share a child, so she really needs to step up to protect your relationship. She needs to have a serious conversation with mom about overstepping her rights as your guest. That's right. Okay. We're going to end the video there. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all for notifications. Buy my books. It's at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Go to my Patreon, patreon.com/theheliosblog, and subscribe. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian or Tom M. Shout outs to them. Link is in the description. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I will see you next time.